Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Lego's Dungeons & Dragons Collectible Minifigure Set 71047, which we get on September 1st. And today we're going to talk about Szass Tam. We're going to talk about if Szass Tam, the evil lich wizard collectible minifigure, deserves its slot in the set. I'm not going to bury the lead. It does not. So first of all, Szass Tam is a lich. First of all, why do you even need him? Okay, why wouldn't you print Vecna? Vecna is the same thing, better, right? More famous. Like, if you're going to print a lich, print Vecna, right? So there. Now, it's not like this isn't a situation where what were they thinking? I know exactly what they were thinking. They were thinking Szass Tam was in Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, right? I get it. But this is not a good use of a slot, okay? So I would have much rather had a class, which we don't have yet. Good example is Monk. We don't have Monk. There's no Monk that's been put into Dungeons & Dragons Lego, right? So I much would have rather had that, right? Or another one of the 35 species that we need to kit out in Lego. So this is, and this is an undead human. I think that's what Szass Tam is, right? Terrible use of a slot. Absolutely terrible use of slot. Worst use of slot in the entire set. And a complete waste of the slot, right? Like, this was just not needed, not a good pick. Okay. Now, it made its way into the set. Is it a garbage collectible minifig? Absolutely not. It's actually for what it is. Now, my issue is it should not have been included in the set, okay? It's not poorly. Once you decide to put it in the set, then immediately the question becomes, did you execute it well? And does it give us useful things as Dungeon Masters and Dragon Masters? Yes, 100%. It's actually executed extremely well. So one, everybody's loving this clear red skull. Right? Actually, I think that's a pretty cool, that can actually be a head for a species that's not defined for a player character, right? Like, I'm playing, I'm playing a species that's, it's nothing but bones, and all the bones are literally crystallized blood. Bet. Yeah, love it. Like, good to go, right? Like, and that's another thing that I think is really going to start happening is species being added to Dungeons and Dragons because the minifig is at the table, and there's so many wild things you could do with these species. So many wild things you can do with Lego overall. It literally inspires the narrative, right? It's not just executing the narrative. In many cases, it is inspiring the narrative. But Szass Tam is very well executed. He has bright red wizard's robes. Now, these wizard robes I literally think this is exactly the same body as Umbridge, Professor Umbridge. Oh, not Professor Umbridge. Professor McGonagall from Harry Potter, right? It's same wizard robes, right? But they're bright red. So one, you have an evil wizard right there, right? Now I actually, it's extremely unlikely that Szass Tam is ever going to hit the table. Like, he's going to be repurposed immediately, right? Because Szass Tam is not going to be just running up around in Faerun, right? Like, he's an end scene villain, right? So that's another thing that's driving me a little like, I don't know, man. Like, you have this minifig that's going to see the table once, right? But pop off the head and put in new parts, into the hands. It's going to get used all the time as an evil wizard, right? Which is great. I love it. I'm all for it. I absolutely love it, right? No problem. Right. The other thing is he has a fireball piece in his hand, as though he is actually he's in progress in casting a fireball, which is epic. And that thing is going to come out, and half the player characters are going to have a dual fireballing wizard. And that piece is fantastic. Could not have been executed better. Szass Tam is a wasted slot. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. The important part is when I hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.